Okay, let's do a quick review on solving one-step equations. So what does it mean to solve an equation? It just means we are solving for a variable. So last week we were simplifying expressions and we weren't solving for anything. Today we're going to start solving equations and solving for a variable. So which of these can be solved? Well, we need to know that when we solve, there has to be an equal sign. So there's no equal sign here, so we were not solving anything there. We do have an equal sign here. We have one here, and we don't have one here. So we're only solving problems that have an equal sign. Okay, what is inverse operation? Okay, inverse operation is doing the opposite of what is already being done. So, if we are adding, the inverse operation of adding would be subtracting. And it goes both ways. If we're subtracting, the inverse operation is adding. If we're multiplying, the inverse operation is dividing. And again, these go the other way as well. So if something is being added, the inverse operation, or we can undo addition by subtracting. If something is being multiplied, we can undo multiplication by dividing. Okay. We're going to skip define reciprocal right now. We'll come back to that later. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at a one-step equation. And this is going to be practice for some of you, reminder for some of you, and we're just going to look at each piece. So if we look at this one, the first one, 9 plus x equals 73. The 9 and the x are being added. So we want to undo addition. So we're going to let's take this off. We're going to subtract 9 from both sides. Our goal is to get the x by itself. We want x to be by itself. I'm sure you guys all remember this. Okay, so to undo, we're going to subtract 9 from both sides. That cancels that out. We're going to bring our x straight down. X equals, and 73 minus 9 gives us 64. And that's our answer. X equals 64. Now, we can check our answer by plugging it back in. So we can plug in 64 for x and put 9 plus 64 equals 73. And that is true. Okay? Let's look at one that's being subtracted. What it's asking, what can I subtract 14 from to get 22? Again, my goal is to get x by itself. So I need to undo minus 14. And I would do that by adding 14 to both sides. Again, that crosses that out. We bring our x down. And 22 plus 14 is 36. There's our answer. We can plug that back in. 36 minus 14 equals 22. And that is correct. Okay. Let's look at 5x equals 35. Well, right here, the 5 and the x are being multiplied. So to undo multiplication, we're going to divide. So we're going to divide both sides by 5. That cancels out. We bring our x down. 35 divided by 5 is 7. And again, we can plug that back in. 5 times 7 equals 35. And that is correct. And then dividing, the last one here. X divided by 3 equals 7. To undo division, we're going to multiply. And remember, everything we do, we have to do to both sides. So if we're subtracting 9 from one side, we have to subtract it from the other side. If we're adding 14 to one side, we have to add 14 to the other side. If we're dividing by 5 to one side, we have to divide by 5 to the other side. So here we're multiplying by 3. That's going to cancel out, giving us x equals 7 times 3 is 21. And again, we can plug 21 divided by 3 equals 7. And that's correct. So again, we're always trying to get the x by itself. And we use the inverse operation in order to do that. Okay, so let's look at letter A. And these are going to be just a couple for you to go over yourself, but we'll do A together. So here we have 5 plus x equals 10. Again, the 5 is positive. So to undo addition, we're going to subtract 5 from both sides. That cancels. I bring my x down. X equals 5. And that's my answer. I want you guys to show your work. So for the solve the following equations, I want you to show your work like we just practiced. And then on the page for practice, I want you to show your work on those problems as well.